Hello everyone, and happy Monday. Hope that you all had a beautiful weekend and a fantastic day as well today. I certainly did. Very busy day at work than Mondays and Fridays usually are, but it was a good day too. And I'm looking forward to hanging out with you all today as well. We're going to be playing some of the Enel deck list that won the North American Championship, played by Yonas Abraham. So shout out to him for winning that North American Championship and building a deck that I think is very different from a lot of the other Enel decks we've been seeing. And there's some cards that he included I haven't seen any other decks running. There's some cards that he didn't include that I've been seeing all of the other decks running. And there's even a card that I've been seeing a lot of decks run very minimal amounts that he's been maxing out on. Actually, a couple cards that he maxed out on that I was surprised by. And another card that other people have been maxing out on and he didn't max out. So there's a lot of interesting things to talk about this deck list. And it did win the championship, so that's something to take note of. But I do like that the player, Yonas, in his interview with Eggman afterwards, did also acknowledge that he did get lucky in several instances as well throughout the tournament. And I always think it's cool when a player acknowledges that because, yes, it takes skill to make it into the top cuts and make it through to these tournaments to the finals. But it also takes a little bit of luck and then capitalizing on that luck with skill to make the most of it and win the championship. I think he put all the things together, and you can watch the games on YouTube as well. And shout out as well because we got Pokey Manny, Susan, and Aaron Nickel that were all part of the early gang today, and that makes me super hype as well. So thank you. And I see Dead Guy 247 and Just Hacks as well in the chat. Welcome. How are you doing as well? How have your days been going? How was your weekends? I'm also excited today because I'm going to be baking something after this stream. Some salted chocolate caramel boar's head hummus cookie bites. And I'm very much looking forward to that with some orange sticks from Trader Joe's dipped in as a little garnish. So I think that should be a lot of fun. Oh, and I accidentally hit the transition button. My bad. But I do want to get into things today because, well, I'm excited to play the deck. I've also downloaded Pal World over the weekend, and I was playing it with Wild Bill. So that was a lot of fun. Let me know in the comments or in the chat if you have tried Pal World and what your thoughts are on the game. It actually surprised me with how much I enjoyed it. I was bought into it with the buy-in of Pokemon with guns, and then was surprised to find like a very deep and enjoyable like gameplay loop that honestly made me want to like keep playing it, and I even want to play some more tonight. So I thought about even streaming it tonight, but I was like, no, I already said I'd play One Piece to some people, so I want to stick with what I said I would do, stick to my guns. But if you are interested in seeing a Power World stream in the future, let me know, because I could be down to do that, because honestly, I want to play. We're going to go into the deck. And before we start playing, I am going to need to edit the deck. So we're going to load up the Enel deck that we're running, and I'm going to bring things over into the display so we can all see. We're going to load, and this is the deck that I was playing. I did win a local tournament in my area with the deck, but I'm going to change things around, and I'm going to follow Yonas Abraham's build because, well, he won the whole North American freaking championship, so he knows what's up, and I want to see how his play style or how his deck list compares with my play style, because it is a little bit of a different deck list where he's really leaning into the defensive capabilities of Enel, which I think is super cool. But I also want to go over here before we get into it quite yet and talk about, this is eggmanevents.com. This is Eggman's website, and this is, in my opinion, the go-to place if you want to learn more about the One Piece card game, follow tournaments, and see what decks are performing well. This is the place to go. Eggman's got a great channel on YouTube as well. Fantastic channel where he's always putting out new content, talking about the game, playing the game, live streaming it as well, and giving really good breakdowns. So this is Yonas' list here. And a couple things right off the bat to note are the Brulee. Not a lot of other lists I've seen have been running the Brulee, and when they have, maybe they sprinkle in 1 or 2 copies. But we see Yonas is rocking the 3 copies here. Additionally, Shura. This is the card that I've seen a lot of other lists running only 2 copies of the Shura. I was running 4 of it. I didn't feel like it was super impactful, although I did feel like it really strengthened my early game when I did see it early, and that's why Yonas ended up playing it, because it really helped him see other cards like the Gadatsu, like the Holly, and like the Ohm to get those combos going early, because if you can get a turbo start with the Enel and combine that turbo aggression start with the defensive built-in capabilities of the leader, it's really, really hard to beat. And then chain it with things like the Yamato and the Katakuri to keep yourself alive. So Sanji is the card that I've seen a lot of other lists running 4 copies of. Yonas is only running 3 copies of this one. Just felt like some of the other things he needed to see more of. I'm still a little surprised by this, and I feel like Sanji just wins so many games just by being that last card in life alone that it's worth playing, let alone the fact that I think it's just a solid card outright. So I can't imagine running 3 copies, but hey, this is what got the job done. So I'm going to try it, and we'll see how it feels. And now we see the Ohm classic for Enel, and this is the Ohm and the Holly. Being able to play the Ohm and then search the top 5, grab a Holly, and if you already had one in your hand, you can just use the one already in hand to play it for free. Super, super strong. Satori 2K, this is another one everyone's been running it for. Now, Gadatsu. Gadatsu is a card that I've been seeing other people run 3 and then cut it down to 2 because people have started to learn how good this card is and play around it in the meta. But I saw Yonas using a lot of the starve strategy. And what I mean by starve is not attacking your opponent's life, because if you attack their life, you're giving that card in their life and adding it to their hand. So instead, what Yonas does is he passes on the opportunity to attack a lot of times and lets the players play their cards, run out of their cards in their hand, really limit their options so they only can play something that can get then hit by the Gadatsu, or they have no other option really. And if you don't attack the life, then also you can hit higher cost cards with the ability of Gadatsu, because its ability is when you play it, KO something equal to or less than your opponent's life. Enel, another card that I've seen a lot of people running 2, 3, or no copies at all, but instead Yonas is running 4 copies of this card. So interesting to see. It doesn't have any counter power. It's got 7 cost, but he's not running any of the 7 cost starter deck Linlin, which I know that's another card that I've been seeing a lot of people running 2 of. I recently added 2 of, and I've been finding it super, super strong. But Yonas says I don't need it, and he's running 4 of the Enel, which is searchable off of the Shura. So something that's interesting here is minimal on the Sanji, but maximum on all of the Skypiea stuff. So that does play into having 4 copies of the Shura. And maybe that makes the Shura better value, having extra copies of the Enel and the Gadatsu. Then we've got 4 Yamato. This card, in my opinion... 4 Katakuri. I'll talk about this first. This is another card that I've been seeing people maybe run 3 copies of. I haven't seen too many copies of 4, but Yonas really using the Katakuri to loop cards like Brule, Shura, Shirahoshi, and even Sanji back into the life. Really, really, really strong, and I'm seeing more and more with how much built-in defensive capabilities this deck already has just based on the leader's ability, cards that can help you sustain and live longer, and if you get your life down to 0, add yourself back to 1, or even if you go down to 1, add yourself back up to 2. Very, very strong with this deck, because you can often abuse that to get multiple life out of that. Same thing with the Yamato. This is another card that if you can... Sometimes I've been learning it's better even not to play it when I'm at 2 life, even if it'll pop a really good card, and just hold it until those turns when I'm down to 1 or 0 life, and then use the Yamato really to maximize its effect of both popping a card on your opponent's side of the field and at the same time healing yourself a life. So sometimes it's good to use it at 2 because you can pop a higher cost card, but I feel like as I've been playing the deck more, it might be almost always better to wait till you get down to 1 or 0 life and then Yamato for the heal effect. Now we get to the final part of the deck, the events. So This is also really interesting because I've been seeing a lot of decks, and personally, even I was running 3 copies of Thunderbolt. A lot of people have been running Thunderbolt. Jonas chose to run 0 copies of Thunderbolt and 3 copies of Amaru. Now, Amaru is super powerful, and that's a card that I definitely in my list want to increase the count of. But I'm surprised by the no Thunderbolt. Now, at the same time, I've been noticing a lot of other players playing around Thunderbolt and using things even in Sakazuki like the Sabo to protect themselves from the Thunderbolt. But still, I thought Thunderbolt was such a powerful, effective card that it would be crazy to cut, but it looks like Jonas has decided to cut it to make room for some of this other higher-ended stuff like the Enel and the Katakuri, an extra Gadatsu, and more Shuras and the Brule. So I'm curious to try out the list, and let's get into our first couple games. Now, I do need to update the list as well, though, so I'm going to need to add 1 Katakuri. I'll do yellow here. T-Dog, how are you doing? Hello, Albino. I went to the eye doctor and he said a little cataract. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you got a cataract, T-Dog, but I hope they can help with that. I'm sure not. The eye doctor will be able to. Yo, Ripper Ed, how's it going? Welcome. Welcome, Ripper Ed. How's your day been going, Ripper Ed? We're going to cut the Linlin here. We're going to cut the Thunderbolt. We're going to cut the El Thor. And we're going to go to the Amaru. I'm going to go to the Shura, and I'm going to bump up the Shura by 2. The Gadatsu, we will bump that up by 1. And the Enel, we will bump up by 1. Where is the Enel? Nope, that's not the right card. And then we'll cut the Sanji here. And I need to make room for 3 Brules. So what else do I need to cut? Oh, the Charlotte Katakuri. All right, 3 Brules, and then we're good to start our first game. 1, 2, 3. So we'll save. Back to lobby. Multiplayer, Western, and I'll load it in for the first game. Oh, break next week. First opponent is playing the Enel mirror match. Ripper Ed says just chilling. Yo, glad to hear, Ripper Ed. Yo, Trainer Glenn, how's it going? Jeremy Newman, yo, what is good, fam? How you doing? Jeremy Newman, the general. And STC says, whoa, yo, STC, how you doing? I think I'm gonna keep this. I like seeing the Yamato. I like the opening Shura. I like the Ohm. I'm going to keep this list. I like this opening hand. So even though I'm going first, I feel like I got some good options here. I'll end my turn, and we'll pass it over to break next week. If anyone's new to the One Piece card game and wants to learn how to play, please don't hesitate to ask any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them as I'm playing. I'm going to draw another card, and I'm going to draw 2 Dawn. And so I think I want to starve my opponent. So I'll play the Shura first. I'll play the Shura, and I actually have a lot of good options here. I'm tempted to grab the Gadatsu because there's a lot of good 4-cost or lower things that I can hit. But the Enel is also very strong, and I don't have a good 7-cost turn. I don't have a good 5. Well, I have the Ohm that I could potentially do. I'm going to take the Enel. But the Gadatsu. I'm going to take the Gadatsu. Because unless my opponent's going to be at 4, I think anything that they play, I'm going to be able to pop next turn with the Gadatsu. So I'll pass my turn. And I'll let them try and, let's see if they play a 4-cost card, and then will I be able to pop it with the Gadatsu. Jeremy Newman, Zard Mafia, saying hello to Tommy Fan and Trainer Glenn. Gyota on a beef bowl is nice when it's a rainstorm outside. Yo, that sounds delicious. What else is in the beef bowl? Dead guy 247. We also, I forgot to mention too, I did a Whatnot stream this Saturday, if anyone missed it, and it was actually really fun. I've actually really been enjoying doing the Whatnot streams. It's nice to be able to play whatever music I want, so I can just like put on Red Hot Chili Peppers and listen to Blink 182 and other stuff that I can't listen to on YouTube. And we got some nice polls from people. Wild Bill ended up going 9 packs for 9 hits. He got 9 hits, including a gold card, one of the hyper rares. So that was super hype. All right, my opponent is just slow playing here a little bit, using the Shura like I did as well. So I feel like it's rough for me. I could Ohm and they'll probably Gadatsu me back next turn, but... And maybe I should Gadatsu because then I pop their Shura. I'm tempted to do the Ohm because then if I can get the Holy out, that's a really good start. But if I Ohm and then they Gadatsu it, then that's a rough play. I could put 3 onto the Shura and just start swinging. Could put 3 onto the Shura. No, that's not a good play. I think... I Ohm here. No, I think I maybe Gadatsu. Because if I Gadatsu, then I pop their Shura, and I put something on board, and they can't Gadatsu that. I think that might be the play. And now that I've played the Gadatsu, I feel like I swing. Now that I've given up the battle of trying to... Okay, alright. Trigger for the Shura, but you know what? I'm not gonna be upset about it. We know how this deck works. There's a lot of triggers. So I'll end my turn. Let's see if they Gadatsu back. I feel like out of 9 cards, they probably have a Gadatsu, and that's why they played the Shura instead of playing something 4 cost. T-Dog says, what did you think of my drawings today, Albino? My favorite was the Mastiff chasing the newspaper boy. I like them all. So if anyone's wondering, T-Dog, yo, Sir Bane, how you doing, Sir Bane? T-Dog is talking about in the Discord, she dropped 3 artworks that she drew today. All very, very awesome. I like them all. I like the Wug Trio a lot, and I like that it was a trio of artworks, and you started with the Wug Trio. So that one was my favorite. Sir Bane says, Ripper Ed, well, hello, stranger. How you doing, Sir Bane? I saw you were streaming earlier today. How did your stream go? All right, our opponent is swinging 6,000 power into our 5,000 power. I would have to use a 2k counter to get out of this. I actually don't have a 2k counter in my hand, so I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take this attack. We're going to add it to our hand, and unfortunately, it's a Gang Badge, which is a card that I would love to see later on. Not right now. I'm not going to use the trigger effect. I'm going to keep this card in my hand. My opponent still has 5 Dawn active. So I'm wondering... Yep. They mirror what I did, and they play the Gadatsu to pop the Shura. So now I'm thinking they probably don't have 2 Shuras in hand. But you know what? It doesn't even matter, because... Oh, I grabbed the Gadatsu before, not the Enel. That's where I really should have grabbed the Enel. The Enel would have been more impactful, now that I think about it, than the Gadatsu. But I think seeing 3 Ohms here, I feel like I'm comfortable playing an Ohm. Let's play an Ohm. We don't hit a Holly, which is a little surprising, the Holy. No Holy Guacamole. We're sending 2 Sanji, so that means we only have 1 Sanji left as an option. Wow, we're sending a lot of good cards. I mean, good cards that we'd like to see in the life, not necessarily to draw into, I guess, now that I think about it. The Enel is good, but... Alright, we don't draw into any, we're going to return them to the bottom. We don't have a target, so we're going to cancel. I think I put on the pressure now. We'll swing for 5. Alright, I was hoping to knock some cards out of my opponent's hand, but it looks like he's not going to give us that opportunity, or he shouldn't assume a genders. Could be a female as well, so I'm not going to give my opponent any more cards. 10 cards in hand. Alright, maybe I should have swung with the Gadatsu, but I didn't want them to and then swing into the Gadatsu and try to clear it. I feel like having more characters on the board right now, especially 5k and 6k versus 6k and 2k, is going to pay off well for me later on. All right, there's the second Gadatsu. So, all right, sometimes your opponent's just got 2 Gadatsus in the hand, but we don't know. Maybe that was that card in the life that we sent there. You've got 3 more Dawn left, so I'm curious to see what it gets used for. 6K into the 5K. I will take that. I will go down to 2. Oh, interesting. All right, so we got the Amaru. Do I want to use its effect? I think I will. And I'm going to trash my other Amaru. And I'm going to trash a Shirahoshi. I think that's okay. I'm only down to 4 cards in hand, but I gained another life. So I feel like that's worth it. My opponent still has 9 cards in hand, though. So that does make me a little bit nervous. I'll take that one. Let's see if we can get a trigger here. I know we're playing the yellow casino route. No trigger, but the holy that we need to get the holy ohm combo going next turn if we so choose. Maybe actually I should have protected that life because then I could have... No, I'm going to hold on to the Yamatos. Let's take this life. I'll take this life and then I'll play the Yamato next turn and heal. I think that's worth it because I'm basically just getting another card in hand. The Yamato's the better play anyways. Alright, we see Gadatsu. I don't think the Gadatsu is going to be super impactful for me, but we see another Yamato. Okay, so I'll be able to back-to-back Yamatos. That's kind of cool. I'll play... You know what? Let's swing into the Gadatsus first. Let's try and clear this Gadatsu. I'll swing 6K into 6K. Because I know with the Yamato, I'm going to be popping the Shura. That's the best I can do. So I'll see if my opponent gives up a Gadatsu early for no cards out of hand. Or do they start using some of these damn cards out of their hand? There we go. We'll go another 6K into the Gadatsu. Alright. We'll go 5K into 5K on the life here. Okay, they take it. Of course, Shirahoshi. At least next turn we'll be able to Yamato them. That gives me some solace. Yo, Mac, how's it going? I'm good, bro. Stream went amazing. Got a Pokevault raid. That was insane. Yo, that's fire, Sir Bane. That is fire. Congrats on the Pokevault raid. That's hype. You deserve it. I went to the eye doctor today and a little cataract. That's why I missed your stream. Yo, I'm sorry, T-Dog. Sorry to hear again about that little cataract, and I hope they can help. Alright, looks like my opponent ditched Katakuri out of their hand and trashed a Shirahoshi. So now I'll play the Yamato, and I'll... It's better for me to pop the Shura. If they Katakuri the Shirahoshi, that'll be very depressing. But I don't want them to attack me another time. So I'll pop the Shura. Oh, I can't even pop the Shirahoshi anyways because it's 5 costs. So my only available target was the Shura. I'll end my turn. Alright, my opponent's at 9 cards. I'm at 6, but I've got 2 life and they're down to 1. They could Yamato me here. They won't hit anything with the Yamato, but they could still heal a life. I'm curious, what is everyone still hunting for from Paldean Fates? I'm looking forward to opening up some more this Friday. Should be hopefully able to find 2 more ETBs in the wild. I checked my local gaming store. I checked Barnes & Noble. I checked Target. All of them all sold out of Paldean Fates. So I did hear Darkside Comics and Games in Sarasota is going to be restocking on Friday. So I should be able to, at the very least, stop by there before stream. But been interesting to see. Paldean Fates has been hitting the shelves and leaving the shelves very quickly. I think this is worth defending. I think protecting my bodies here, and my opponent swung 7,000 power into my 6,000 power They're going to do it again. I think this is worth... I don't have to... I can't burn 2 cards out of hand, so I think I'm going to take this one, actually. My opponent's still got 8 Dawn in their hand, so I think they're probably going to Katakuri the Shirahoshi, which is a little unfortunate. I'm gonna defend it. This might be buck wild. This might be absolutely buck wild, but I'm defending the Ohm because I don't think that they'll be able to commit. If they commit more Dawn onto the Enel and to swing onto the Ohm, I think it stops them from Katakuring their own Shirahoshi, which would be very frustrating for me to deal with. They still yeah. There's the Katakuri on the Shirahoshi, so they had to do that. But at least we didn't give up the Ohm. There's nothing that I can pop with 4 costs, so I'll take this card so that I Yamato next turn and heal back. So I'm basically just adding a card to my hand for free. I'll take this. That's another Holy. Okay. At this point, I don't know if it's going to hit the board because I already have one in hand. These all might just end up becoming 1k power. So we're going to draw a card. We're going to draw Dawn. It's a 2k. 2k is helpful. I think I almost have to play the Yamato to heal. So I think I swing the Gadatsus. Maybe I should be swinging these Gadatsus at the leader, but I think I have to get board control right now. I think I have to prioritize establishing board control, and if I give them a Shirahoshi while they have even more cards in their hand, then they have even more options to ditch. So I want to really limit their options to ditch, I think, before I potentially start swinging into any of the life. So I'll do another 6k into the Gadatsu. I gave up like 3 cards to protect this Gadatsu, and I only got 1 card out of their hand was the end result, the Gang Bedge. So it was a 2k, but maybe in hindsight it wasn't worth. Actually, never mind. They had to use a 2k to defend 6,000 on the 6. Wow, they're pitching 2ks! To defend the on presence attack. That's actually a good sign for me. Okay, that's actually a good sign for me. I still have 9 Dawn. I think I get rid of this. I get rid of this Gadatsu here. Yeah, they have nothing to. And we play another Yamato. Choose no targets, but I heal 1 and I end my turn. And I think that's a good turn from Ring. Grabbing some water real quick. Gotta say hashtag hydrated. All right, so my opponent drew a card and is attaching a Dawn to Gadatsu and swinging for 7k onto what? Yeah, I think I have to just defend this. Alright, what are they going to do next? I feel like they might end up committing big onto... Okay, if they're just going to swing with the A-cost Katakuri onto something, I think I just take that. Yeah. I would have to use all the cards in my hand. I think I have to just... I just take that. I think that's actually a win for me that they committed so much resources. And now here's probably going to be a Yamato from them, I'm guessing. Although if they do, I think that would be not a great play for them. We shall see. We shall see. Oh, okay. All right, committing Dawn to go after the Ohm. Do I want to pitch 2 cards from my hand? They would have Still an Enel. They would be able to play an Enel for 7 Dawn and then attack one more time, and I wouldn't be able to defend that. So, I think I take this. I think I take this. They play an Enel, and then they can't swing the Enel into the Yamato, but they can swing it into my life, and I think I take the life. 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 Triple Yamato. All right. My opponent's got a good board, though. Draw card. They don't know what I just got, though. All right. I think I go first into the Gadatsu. Let's see if they'll give up any counter power to protect this Gadatsu. They do. And a Brûlé. That's actually a good card to knock out. Here's the question. Do they have another 2K, which would protect their Katakuri? Or do we swing into the Enel? They would protect their Enel by trashing the Shirahoshi. But that's kind of good for us. I kind of actually would want them to trash the Shirahoshi to protect the Enel. Now, that I say that out loud, though, the thing is, this deck is so good if I can really get board control on here. So I'm going for a big risk. Do I swing the 9 into the 8? If they have another 2K, I'm screwed. I don't think they do. I think they have to lose this card. If they have a 2K here. Oh, yes. And now we play the next Yamato. Choose no targets. Heal 1. Boom. Back to 2. We've got 3 Yamato. They've just got an Enel, and they're top decking at this point. And we haven't triggered that Shirahoshi. So I think maybe this next turn we can put pressure onto their Enel after they attack into us. And because I didn't burn my hand last time to last turn to protect this Ohm, I've got a decent amount of counter power in hand that I should be able to protect at least one of these 2 Yamatos this turn. Yo, Off-Center Johnny, how's it going? Welcome. Says Albino. Now the table is turning, says Dead Guy 247. Exactly. This, now, I gotta acknowledge the luck here. Coming into 3, it's unlikely that you run into, by this state of the game, 3 Yamatos. But that's actually what happened for Yonas, I will say as well, during his, I think it was the 3rd game in the best 2 out of 3 match in the finals. I'm pretty sure it was that game where he had triple Yamato on board, and that's just really hard to deal with. And with each one getting to activate the heal ability, so I've healed 3 life this game. That's tough. We still haven't even gotten to the Enel's ability of healing a life itself yet. My opponent's got 5 cards. I've got 4 cards. But I've got a good board. We're even on life. I know that they've got that Shirahoshi. But hopefully I can potentially deal with the Shirahoshi by them using their Enel. Yeah, I gotta just counter out of that. Yeah, for sure. 1K counter power to get out of that. I think that's just an instant I have to do that. Now they're going 9. Okay, I think that's just another instant. Yeah, I counter out of this. Now they have 4 Dawn left, and they can play. Okay, yeah, that's not good for them. That's not good for them. No cards to draw, but maybe they have an Ohm in hand. A Holy in hand. If they do have, okay, they don't. Yeah, they're not in a good state here. But now I need to play carefully a little bit because I think I'm going to put 1 Dawn and try and get rid of this Enel. Let's see if they protect the Enel. There's no way they have 2 They would have to have 2k counter power to get out of that. So they trashed the Shirahoshi. Good. That's what I wanted to have happen. We'll do it again. There's no way. They can't protect it. Yep, they lose it. I think they should have just lost the Enel and then let me swing into the life and then activate the Shirahoshi rather than crit the Shirahoshi. I think that was a misplay on my opponent's behalf, but they're in a tough spot, so I don't blame them. I'm going to leave 3 Dawn active. So I'm going to go 1, 2... I think I used too many Dawn there. I wanted to have play the Ohm and then play the Brûlée, but I think it's fine. I'll feint an Elthor. I don't have an Elthor, but I'll make them think that I have an Elthor. Okay. So they trash the Yamato, which I actually think the Yamato would be good to play, but maybe they disagree, and then I'll put another 9k. Now, because they're down to 0, unless they play... Okay, the Sanji's good, but unless they play Yamato next turn to heal themselves, they're going to be stuck at 0. And then I'll play the Brûlée. And the Brûlée will protect me if they try and put a big, massive Dawn swing onto one of their characters to get rid of the Yamato. That's what the Brûlée will help protect me. And then I've got 2 1Ks that should protect me from the other swings, so I think I should be able to protect all of my Yamatos this turn, and then that should be enough to finish the game next turn. And if we happen, there's still 1 more copy of Amaru in this deck. If we happen to run into that, should be good. Alright, my opponent's swinging onto my actual life. This is a little bit interesting. I'll take this. Oh, yeah. I am going to use the trigger, and I'll trash the Shirahoshi. I'll play the Sanji. Even though I'm trashing a card from my hand, I'm limiting my counter power. I'm playing both another blocker and another body that can attack into life next turn. There's the Yamato. That's what I thought could potentially be coming. Heals 1, but I think because... I think we were already in a good spot, but then GG. GG. Yeah, we'll just swing the 9k. We'll see. Maybe they've got another blocker. Maybe they've got another trigger. Go another Yamato. We got to play this out right. Make sure we don't make any mistakes here. They have the Sanji. They haven't used it yet. So I got to be mindful of that. All right. Let's see what is the last... What is the last life? Is there a trigger? Show me a Gangbej or show me a Sanji. I think we can still work around it. If it's the Amaru would actually... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Nice. We got it. Should be, at least, unless I'm foolish. Great game. That was a great game. Back to main menu. Wow, that was a fun one to start things off. Yo, Stelios, how you doing? D-Mac was saying, wait. Yeah, the tables were rocking all over the place that game. That was a really good game to start things off. That was a lot of fun. I'm good, man. Been working on beginnings of a company I would like to start. Yo, that's very exciting, D-Mac. And also on a new video idea I would like to try and make. What is the video idea? I'd love to hear it. I'm going to use the restroom real quick. I really got to use the bathroom. But let me know about the video idea and I'll read it right when I get back. Memex says, the idea is a card art review type video, so I'll take for this example as the first video, the Ivysaur Special Illustration Rare from 151. I think that's a great video idea. I think that's a great one, Memex. I think people really like the card reviews. And the Ivysaur is an awesome one. How are you doing, Stelios? How's your day been going? We're going to load into game number 2. Let's see if we can get a different deck that we're playing against. I imagine a lot of people are going to be playing the Enel deck list because that was a recent winner of the North American Finals, but hopefully we still have some other Sakazuki or even Purple Luffy players out there. And it looks like we're having a little bit of trouble connecting, so I might just reboot up the game real quick. Multiplayer, Western, quick join. Ooh, playing against a Eustace Captain Kid, the purple red. I've never played against this deck ever before. All right, I am going to choose to go first. I like the Yamato. I like seeing at least a Holy there. I'll keep what I got. Okay, my opponent just immediately concedes. I think that's fair. They're probably realizing that the Enel matchup is not going to be a fun one. All right, loading into another game. Let's see what our next match is going to have in store for us. Looks like the app is having a little bit of connection issues. All right, I want to try and get a different game other than the Enel, because the last game was a fun Enel one, but I want to try and play a different deck, just to get a little variety on the stream. Interesting. The app is having a lot of issues connecting today. I'll give it a little bit of time, attempting to connect. Yo, Milanito flexing the 11th months. Let's go, Milanito. Kaizuku o no ni ore wanuru. Let's go, Milanito. Love the membership for 11-month membership. Thank you so much for being a member of the Manatee Nation for 11 whopping months. Truly appreciate you, and thanks for taking a moment to hang out with us. Thank you, Milanito. How's your day going? Appreciate you. It looks like we're still having issues connecting here. I'm gonna try loading it up again. The app is being a fickle one today. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quick join. Let's try and get it. Oh, okay. All right, that's can in a room likely full is better than. Nice. All right, Ronnie W. I think we've even played Ronnie W again before. I am going to choose. I'm actually going to go second against Sakazuki because I don't want to give them the extra cards. Even though normally I do like to go first, I'm choosing to go second in this instance because I don't want to give them cards. And I need the, I'm going to mulligan because I need a little bit more of a turbo start here. I don't like seeing 3 2Ks. I like seeing the Katakuri, I like seeing the Yamato, but I think we can get a little bit of a greedy belly and get some Gadatsus and other things, and we do. All right, nice. I do like to see that. So I'm good with this mulligan, and the reason why I like this mulligan, 2 Gadatsus in hand. There's a lot of cards from Sakazuki that they play that are solid to hit with the Gadatsus. So cards like Rob Lucci, cards like Rebecca, cards like Kuzan. That's 3 really strong 4-cost cards that you can hit all with Gadatsu that are played by Sakazuki. Now, if they played the Borsellino, that's a little bit frustrating for me to deal with, but, you know, they're allowed to have one good 4-cost card that escapes the clutches of the Gadatsu, the Swamp Lord. Too cool, says Susan. Milanito dropping the hearts. And then I'll talk about the art, the artist, and his or her previous work with Pokemon, and the playability of the card in the TCG itself. Mech, that is perfect. All excellent things, all wrapped up into one, I think would be great. I think that is a great video idea. And I like the idea of focusing on one card at a time, because you could potentially condense it down to a minute or less and make it a short, and I think that would be really good too. Well, okay, Ronnie W. just disconnecting. Ronnie W. I think Ronnie W. might have remembered that we've played before and go, oh, I'm not going to deal with this guy. All right. The app's kind of pissing me off a little bit today. We're going to play, and I do want to do some baking later, so I'm going to try and just get one more good game in. Let's try and get one good game in. But it's weird that it's doing this thing where it's connecting me, but not connecting me with an opponent. Alright, there we go. Alright, we're playing a VV deck. You know what? I don't want to... I respect my opponent. Mike, I respect you. I don't know how competitive the VV is going to be against Enel, though. My opponent's choosing to go second. I will keep because I have the Shura. I could probably be a little bit more greedy. I've got 3 2Ks in hand that don't really do anything. I probably could have been a little bit more greedy with the mulligan, and would have been maybe nicer to see things like a Katakuri or a Yamato. But at the same time, I don't feel super threatened by this deck. Draw a card. Just being honest. Draw a card. Draw Dawn. I'll play the Shura. We'll search out. I wanted to find an Ohm so I could do the Holy Guacamole next turn. We don't find it, but I will grab the Gadatsu. And that is one value of running the Gadatsu at 4 and running the Shura at 4. We can kind of more consistently secure good starts for ourselves with the Skypiea characters. Also the Enel at 7 as well. So I'm kind of liking this list. Ronnie W is a chicken. Susan's throwing the trash talk out there. Yeah, Ronnie W. Hopefully we'll get another chance to play a game with him. Or you know what? I shouldn't throw trash on him because honestly too, maybe he's just tired of playing against Enel. Enel's not a great... It's probably... Enel might be the only deck that isn't a great matchup for the Sakazuki. So maybe he's just like, I've played 4 Enels in a row. I can't do this again. Because I did also concede pretty early from an Enel that we matched up with. So I'll throw Ronnie W some love. But Mike is drawing his card, he's drawing his Dawn, and he's thinking. Let's see, what is Mike gonna do for their turn? Ooh, the Morley. I'm a little surprised to see the Morley. So, Morley is a Revolutionary Army card. It was added in OPO5. But you typically see this with, like, Bello Betty decks. So, interesting. I'm not sure if they have a way to give it more power. But Mike, I'm kind of thinking you got an interesting deck here, my man. I think I just played the Gadatsu here. Because if I use 2 Dawn, there's nothing... I could play a Holy... I'm going to do this. I'll grab the Enel for next turn. Okay, I'm sending it... I probably shouldn't have done that because next turn I would have just drawn an Enel, and then the turn after that I would have drawn a Yamato. So using that Shura there was probably not the right play. I should have just played a Gadatsu and popped either the Morley or one of these blockers here. I'm going to just shoot a random 5k. Now that I know that next turn I'm going to play in the Gadatsu, or I'm playing the Enel, I'm just going to shoot a random 5k into the VV and just kind of see what they do. Do they block with one of their 2 blockers? or do they take the card from the life and add it to their hand? Still next turn, if I really wanted to Gadatsu, I could still hit any of these targets with the Gadatsu. I don't really know what to expect from this deck, so I'm kind of feeling things out here. And they counter a 2k counter with the Brook. I feel like is an insane play. Okay. Alright. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to play a Holy. I'm going to end my turn. Probably attaching 3 Dawn and attacking with the Shura might have been a better play, but I don't know. I'm gonna throw my opponent a bone here a little bit. So I think optimally, my best play was playing the Gadatsu on curve, popping the Morley or one of the blockers, and starting to swing into life. Okay, alright. My opponent's swinging 7k. I'll take the 7k. We'll get a Katakuri. I will use a Conus to 2k out of that. And my opponent's leader cannot attack, so those are the only 2 attacks that we got to deal with. And my opponent didn't really advance their board too much, so I think we're okay. If I could get really greedy and play another Shura here, but I think that would be ridiculous. I think I pop the Morley. I put 2k onto the Shura so it can attack into the Sanji, and let's see if my opponent uses one of their blockers. And then I'll use my leader to attack into the Sanji. And my goal right now is to clear my opponent's board. Because their leader can't attack, they can only threaten my life with characters on the board. So if I get rid of their board, I'm also protecting my life at the same time. So I think the Enel, especially with its ability to heal when its life is at 1 and goes down to 0, it's really important for Enel to emphasize board control over going into the life control. Alright, my opponent takes it. I don't really fully know what to expect anymore here. We're going to do 5k into my opponent's life. I feel like my opponent has got to take this life. They do. Looks like it potentially could have a trigger, so we'll see what that trigger is going to be. The Morley does... Oh, it's a Radical Beam. Okay. I don't know if that's a good usage of Radical Beam. I feel like it protects them from the Holy, I guess. I guess it protects them from... I was going to swing 5k into there, so... I guess without using a Dawn, they basically had the Rad Beam protect the life, so maybe that wasn't a bad usage. I'll end my turn. Deadcool Gaming says, "Evening, Albino in chat." Yo, Deadcool Gaming, how are you doing? How you been hanging? Have you been doing any Minecraft pixel art? I bet some One Piece Minecraft pixel art would be pretty sweet. Alright, what is Mike going to do here with the VV? They've got 4 cards in hand. They've currently got 8 Dawn. I just had my 7 Dawn. Oh, they're playing a Rush Luffy, the 5-cost starter deck Luffy from the Straw Hat starter deck. They're attaching a Dawn onto it. They're attaching 2 Dawn onto it, so it negates the effects of any blockers. But I don't have any blockers on the board here, so I'm going to take that swing, and I'll add the card from my life to my hand, and it's a Yamato. So next turn I'm going to be at 9 Dawn. Probably going to play that Yamato. I'm definitely going to play that Yamato, because my opponent has 4 life, and I have 2 life. That means if I play the Yamato, it'll pop their Monkey D. Luffy. Actually, we talked about this. Maybe I should only use the Yamato for the sake of healing. I have 9 Dawn. I've got 2 Katakuris. I've got an Enel. I've got a lot of things that I can play. I could... Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna swing a Gadatsu into the Luffy. So 6k into 6k. Let's see if my opponent, he's got 1 Dawn active. Let's see if they counter out of this. Let's see if they use one of their blockers. I'm kind of just curious at this point what they do. They use a blocker. Maybe actually because the life totals are so crazy high, maybe it is actually. I think in this case it is actually, and I have other ways that I can heal my life. I think it might be better for me to just... No, it's probably better for me to... Probably better for me to just swing into it with my board first. So I'm going to do another 6k into the Luffy. If they had to use a blocker to protect the last 6k, I'm guessing they don't have the counter power in hand to protect this Luffy. So they're probably going to lose, yep, another one. This is probably excessive. This is almost definitely excessive. And in fact, this was a bad idea, because if they did have a radical... No, a radical beam wouldn't get them out. A guard point would get them out. So if they guard point out of this, I shouldn't... I played on the Enel for 7 Dawn. I had 8 Dawn. I played it for 7, and then I attached my one last Dawn onto the Enel to swing for 8. I should have just swung for 7, and then kept that other Dawn, put it on the Enel leader that I still had active, and then swung into that for 6. Because if they had a guard point, they could have guard pointed at the Enel character, and then my leader wouldn't have been able to attack with 5 into 6. So I probably should have done 7 into 6, and then 6 into 6, rather than 8 into 6, and then 5 into, nothing. But here we are. That's what happened. That's what we did. I'm swinging 5 into the leader now because we got rid of their Monkey D. Luffy. They have nothing on the board. They only have 3 cards in hand. Now 4 cards because they just took a life. I think this game is wrapped up, to be honest, because we've also got a ton of really powerful cards in my hand. For the next couple turns, I can just use a Katakuri. I can send a Shura back into my hand. I can do another Katakuri after that. I could do a Yamato. If they play a Rush Luffy and attack into my life, I can take a life and then Yamato. I would be able to Yamato, actually. Oh, okay. They play a 10 cost Rush Luffy. Definitely can't Yamato that. But I can still Yamato and heal. So I'll take this life because it's basically just adding a card to my hand for free. And it's the Amaru. I'm not going to use the Amaru's trigger effect, which would be to ditch 2 cards from my hand and gain a life. I'll keep that, just in case my opponent drops a blocker or something later on in the game. Draw a card. Draw a Dawn. Maybe it makes more sense to Katakuri the Shura. I think I'm going to do that. So I'll play the Katakuri. I'll send the Shura to the top of my life. Now I have 2 Dawn still active. What do I want to do with them? I'm going to put 1 in the Holy. I'm pretty much just going to ignore this Monkey D. Luffy 10 cost character, I think. I think I'm just going to ignore this guy. I could have put a bunch of Dawn onto one of my characters and swung onto the Luffy and tried to get rid of it, but I think I don't feel super threatened by it. My opponent uses a 2k. They must have just recently drawn that. Swing 6 into 5 with my Gadatsu now into their VV. I think they're probably going to have to take this life. And I think I'm just going to, at this point, get their life really low so that next turn I can absolutely end the game. Yo, Castle Knight TCG, how you doing? Mike Norbar, how's it going? Static Calf Gang, Wait, where's the rest? Static is the main Static raid. Yo, Static Raiders, thank you so much for the raid. Thank you, Static. Yo, appreciate you. Thank you, homie. How are you doing? How was your stream? How have the polls been? What are you hunting for from Bandai and Fates? Thank you so much for the raid. We got Mike Norbart, we got Castle Knight TCG, we got Static, we got Karina Street, we got Richard Burns. Yo, thank you everyone for coming through. Appreciate you all. And thank you Castle Knight TCG for dropping the link for Static. If you haven't already, make sure you go check out Static, go subscribe, and go check out his live streams and videos. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you. And how's your day been going? How's everyone doing? We're playing a little bit of the One Piece card game right now. My opponent is clinging to life here using the Nefeltari VV leader from OP04 Kingdoms of Intrigue, and we're trying to close out the game. We're playing an Enel deck list, which is a character from the One Piece card game that recently released, and this deck was used to win the North American Championships that just happened a week or two ago. So I'm playing the exact list that the champion used, and I'm finding it to be pretty effective. So I'm seeing why it won here. All right, so I swung into my opponent's life with my characters that were able to. They took the life. Now they're at 4 cards in hand. They've only got 1 life, and I've got 2 life. But I've got 4 characters on the board, and they've only got 1 character. So it's looking like we're in a pretty good position. I think next turn we might be able to close out the game. I've also got a lot of defensive counter power in hand too, so that definitely helps. And this is a very defensive deck. So I've been liking that the Shuras actually have been pretty nice, to be honest, now that I think about it. Like, having 4 Shuras and having 4 of the other Skypias helps me be more consistent with my start. And because the late game of the deck is so just naturally strong, smoothing out the beginning of the game actually does a lot better things for the deck overall. It makes a lot bigger impact than it might be in another deck that is already like pretty consistent in the early game. How's your day been, Richard Burns? Thanks for joining us, part of the Static Raid. I'll be different from the stream, y'all. It's 11:59 p.m. over here, so I'm going to go and get some sleep. Good luck with the games, Albino. Yo, thank you, Memek. Hope you get a wonderful night's sleep. Thanks for hanging out with us so late. Appreciate you all the way. The Dutch Gang, thank you so much, and looking forward to seeing your video of the card art review of the Ivysaur. So make sure y'all check out Memek's channel as well. All right, my opponent is attaching a lot of Dawn. So I'll be honest, I don't recommend doing this, putting 2 characters down at the same time and then attaching all of your Dawn and then swinging like one by one, because you're really showing your opponent all of your options, and at this point they don't have any room to pivot if they wanted to. So I'm gonna take this, I'll use the trigger effect, and I will grab I'll grab a Holy. Not that it really matters. My opponent's probably going to attack with another card. I think I'll just take this, just to add another card to my hand. No trigger effect. I will use the ability, and I will send a Shirahoshi to the bottom. We heal another life. My opponent's going to be able to attack with the Monkey D. Luffy, but we'll take it. It doesn't matter. I think we win this next turn. So normally I wouldn't recommend just taking life like this, but I was being a little bit greedy because I'm feeling pretty confident. My opponent really should have focused on trying to take out my board because they didn't have enough attacks to even win the game. So, yeah, they conceded. Well, thank you, Castle Knight, as well, for dropping the link for Memek. Appreciate that. Well, since we've been having some connection issues on the app, I said we were just going to do one more game. We got the game closed out, and it was a dub. I'm going to do some baking, make some stuff with some Boar's Head products that I'm excited about. The salted chocolate caramel hummus. That's part of some mail that I will be sending to a very awesome family, so I'm excited for that as well. They've sent me some fantastic mail and some delicious treats that they've made, so I'm looking forward to sending back some love to them as well. I will be live again tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Friday 5 p.m. Eastern Time for some more Paldean Fates. Should be hype. I'm looking forward to seeing you all then. Let's see. Last time we got 2 special illustration rares, the Gardevoir and the Clive. Can we get the Charizard or the Mew this time? That is what I'm hunting for. And until then, everyone, I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your week, and peace out. Let's go!